right, we should be up and running here shortly. Give the other stream a second here to get caught up. Add what symbols we're going to be going over here today. ABCT, the SPWH, and those are the main ones. Although we'll take a look at the curve because curve was good. I didn't end up playing that. RNG was decent and did not play that one either. Okay, and then yeah, we can talk a little bit about this TGLS because that was one that I kind of had lined up for the afternoon and then didn't quite set up how I wanted it to. Okay. All right. I think we should be up and running here. Should be good. Live. Should be able to hear and see me just fine. So let's get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for December 9th, 2021. SPY down 0.68. IWM down 2.26 and Qs down 1.47. I was expecting us to be more bullish. We ended the hourly downtrend. I was saying the longer that we base up here, the more bullish. And while we were staying here up yesterday, we've now gone into a bit of a pullback, which is fine too because when we did get this break of the downtrend, I said either a base breakout or on a pullback is fine. Now the pullback here doesn't really look very good. We should have stabilized, I think, a little bit earlier instead of selling off as hard as we did into the close. However, we haven't gone into a downtrend quite yet. Okay. We do have some economic data coming out tomorrow. So tomorrow morning could be a pretty deciding factor as far as what the direction is going to be through the end of the year. So, you know, if we break below on the Qs here, 393, we do have some room to come in. Okay. So right now, I'm still going to stay bullish here on the Qs and SPY, but tomorrow it could completely change all that if we get new economic data and we get a complete change of direction. Okay, so we are under the 20 MA now on the Qs here. Okay, but we haven't really started a downtrend either. All right, so we'll see. Maybe a little bit of a double top, you could say, on the Qs. Not typically a pattern I pay too much attention to, especially when the weekly looks like this. Okay, so we'll see. Yeah. Not a very good looking pullback. It's hard to know what they're going to look like. You know, when we're basing up here or when we first ended that downtrend, I was saying looking for a pullback or a breakout. We didn't really base for that for very long. I thought we might base more today, but we actually decided to come in. So the way that it's forming is not the nicest looking pullback. Okay. But I'm going to stay bullish going into tomorrow. If we do come in hard and this hourly starts going a downtrend, then we'll be back to short-term bearish. All right, going into next week. So a lot riding on how we start things off tomorrow morning. Okay. All right, let's go over the plays from today. RNG was really nice. I thought this was a little bit too spready for me, but really nice follow through here. Look at this sell setup right here. So take a look at that. Sell setup there did get a little bit of a retest, so follow through not the easiest here, at least not right away, but eventually did get there as long as you held with your stop. All right, on the RNG, so that was really nice. Here's the gap on this, very, very weak, tried to bounce and then negating that bounce on the RNG. The curve never got involved with this one because it got a little bit wild at the open. I noticed got bought first and then strong bounce off the lows, and then when it looked like it was finally going to give a nice entry there, it got pretty sloppy. So eventually did grind lower, okay, and closed pretty weak there on the curve. The gap was really nice on this, a little bit too big, but overall no support below, so that's definitely nice. I did call this SPWH. Didn't make much on it because of the way that it triggered. Okay, so I didn't have a problem getting filled on this one. Got filled fine actually on the break here of 12:30. Um, but the way that it triggered, I knew that that's not necessarily a good thing. While it's nice because we were up over an hour like right away, and that's a 2 minute bar. Um, I knew that this could easily kick back hard. Okay, and especially once I got this second one here. So even on that first drop, I already said go ahead and trail half to the offer. So basically take half aggressively. If it moves up over the offer, take some. So I think I got out like 12, 13, 12, 14 because it still took a little bit of slippage on the way getting out. And then the back half was trailed as a 5 minute inside bar. Okay, so this inside bar, so over this. So basically break even on the back half. So that's why I didn't make much on the SPWH. Did have a second entry here, but notice how again it kind of worked and then kicked back hard. So I think this was fine to do here as well. I didn't like the way that it kicked back the first time. I ended up letting it go kind of the rest of the day. But again, and then another one here, another sell setup. So we played a breakdown, then did a sell setup, another sell setup. I only played the first breakdown and then kind of didn't really have the patience for it, but the follow through was good. It was supposed to be a buyout that fell through, and then they reported earnings, and then I guess that was disappointing. So they were breaking that support that was created yesterday. Okay, so that's the reason for the bearish play on it. And then into the afternoon here, this AVCT was in this just about until the end of the day on this AVCT. And I really wasn't sure if I was going to play this today. I did not play it at the open at all, even though there were times where it did look higher. Never got involved with this. And then finally into the afternoon, it was looking a little bit cleaner. And then that's where the move came. And that's kind of been my approach for the last couple weeks. And then just like I said yesterday, okay, which was to reiterate, it's okay to be late. Being aggressive and early lately has been more a recipe for getting into trouble, okay? But, on some of these, and this gap is just okay. It's actually very similar to the PSFE. You can see this is an all-out downtrend, and then today is trying to end that downtrend, right? So PSFE yesterday was in a severe downtrend as well, and then yesterday trying to end that downtrend. So I had a pretty nice move up yesterday, pretty good uptrend all day. And even this one, right, while I like this quite a bit, didn't catch the first two entries on it. And then here on the AVCT was really just too sloppy all morning, I thought. Just kind of, whipping back and forth. So if you remember, the way that the PSFE kind of started going was off of this base here. And then it set up a base here, or it moved up and then did a pullback. Okay, so even if I were aggressively watching the AVCT, it never really set up, just like the PSFE, except this one didn't ever set up really until the afternoon. Okay, so I think a lot of that morning sloppiness, that volatility, and spread. Today's spread wasn't any better than yesterday's on a lot of these. I already mentioned the RNG. I thought that was too spready, which is why I let it go. There were some things that were spready and work, some things that spready that don't work, of course. And, even like the CN was pretty tricky. That one often has spread and jumpiness. So, we let that kind of die down, and then we're less likely to get kind of, diced up by the spread and the, getting tails in either direction and things like that. So, I think it does take a little bit of getting used to, a little bit of practice, having that patience, trying to wait for the play to set up, and then letting the ones go that you don't play and just really, really work. But I think it's the right thing to do given the environment. Okay, so we don't have a million things on the gaps list, so it's not like our heads are spinning. So we should be able to really just focus on getting good entries on the things that we're watching. Okay, on whatever are the favorites from the list. All right, but hope you did well today. Obviously, the AVCT was nice. SPWH made a little bit. Yeah, the important thing really, I think, right now is just kind of staying out of trouble and not getting overly aggressive. If you don't end up doing too much, like I think Monday, Tuesday were pretty slow days for me. I think that's completely fine. Okay? All right, guys. We'll be back at it tomorrow, and I'll talk to you then. Have a good evening.